Can you read it? Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, oh my goodness, I do a medical report. Thanks again to everybody out there for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Still don't know when my surgery is, but I am choosing surgeries coming up soon. And I do an April Fool's joke video. And the whole world seems to have gone and cruising crazy today. So we have so many weird stories and scary stories as well. We have a cruise ship caught in 40-foot waves in the Drake Passage. We have a cruise ship, expedition ship that got stuck in the ice in the Baltic Sea. We have a story of over close to 250 people on one ship, on one sailing, coming down with norovirus. We have a cruise passenger on Virgin Cruise Line attacking another cruise passenger and being detained and kicked off the ship. And we also have a gang of about 50 youths attacking cruise passengers near a very popular, iconic, picture-taking location. It's gone crazy, folks. So first off, we had the Ocean Explorer as it was crossing over the Drake Passage and was caught by some people on board. As you can see, a lot of people taking videos of this as they were caught in 40-foot waves going across the Drake Passage. Drake Passage can be one of the most unpredictable spots in the world. You can either have it looking like a lake or you can feel like you're on a roller coaster. And people are wondering, well, you know, a 40-foot wave, you know, on a big cruise ship like, I don't know, the Utopia of the Seas, you know, it plow right through that. However, the ship that got caught was the Ocean Explorer that is this size. So yeah, the passengers were definitely being tossed about on this cruise ship. And just goes to show, you know, these ships are built for rough seas and everything. It's a good thing, but I mean, oh my goodness, those are some pretty powerful waves to be in that small of ship. And then we have another from Helsinki Expeditions, and they were stuck in the Baltic Sea. Apparently a cold snap happened suddenly overnight and it closed in on the cruise ship and basically locked them into the ice flow, which if you look at your history and passage of explorers, the old wooden ships and that's what a lot of them died from, was because of, you know, the ship would all of a sudden get caught in the ice and they're stuck out in the middle of nowhere with no food, no nothing, no supplies, and they were lost forever. Luckily, today's technology with metal ships, etc., this ship could not free itself. Again, it's a small little cruise ship, but we have things called icebreakers, and a Finnish icebreaker was called in and ended up freeing the ship, which of course would have been pretty exciting for a lot of passengers on board to see an icebreaker at work, clearing a path for you and then helping you out of an ice flow. So that would be pretty neat. Next, Queen Mary 2. We reported that it had about 100 and some passengers the other day. Well, that has skyrocketed to close to 250 people on board have the norovirus. It is on the downscline now. Apparently, they're getting less and less cases every day, but at its peak, it reached 250 people. So even one of the most iconic ocean liners in the world is not subject to not getting norovirus, folks. And, you know, white glove service and everything still ended up getting the norovirus on board. Next, let's talk about Mombasa. And Mombasa is a small cruise port where Crystal Cruises pulled into. And some passengers were out at what's called the elephant tusks. And they are 4 giant statues looking like elephant tusks in the shape of an M. And it's a popular picture-taking location. Well, cruise passengers were there. They were taking photos from the cruise ship, and about 50 youths surrounded them and robbed them of all of their possessions: cameras, wallets, money, jewelry, everything. The cruise ship, upon hearing this, called back all of their excursions, got back on board, and left the port. Now, the police and everything in Mombasa are now saying that they are now stepping up security and making a bigger presence there after this incident. But yeah, luckily nobody was injured during this, but all it would have took is one person to perhaps try and put up a struggle. You're not going to win against 50 people. They're just going to overwhelm you. So in this situation, it's better to lose your possessions than lose possibly something much, much more valuable to everybody, our lives. So good for the passengers there. And the cruise line, like I said, not taking any chances. They pulled up and took off. Now we'll have to wait and see if Mombasa all of a sudden gets a red flag and maybe cruise ships stop going there altogether for a while until they can prove that people aren't going to be in any danger. And finally, we had an incident on the Resilient Lady where one passenger attacked another passenger and is now facing some pretty complicated charges. So it all stemmed from early morning hours. Nothing good ever happens after midnight, folks, especially on bars. Well, people were in the floor, out dancing and everything, where a woman was upset. The wife of the person being charged was upset because one of the passengers, a thin male, was up on the dance floor dancing with no shoes on, in his bare feet. Apparently she had walked up to him and said, you know, we're all adults here, would you mind putting your shoes back on? At which point the gentleman turned to her, told her to F off, and gave her the middle finger. Well, the husband saw this, and he was a larger man, tall and heavy set, around 53 years old, and he was not having anybody do that to his wife. And he walked up and immediately just grabbed the person around the throat, started squeezing, yelling, I'm going to F-ing kill you. At which point he was finally broken up. Now the person in question who was being choked said it felt like he was, you know, his throat was going to be ripped out. The security went and they intervened. They checked the footage on board, interviewed both the victim and the wife of the assailant. And she said when they looked at it, they saw clearly that she said something to him that he did give, and then the other person attacked. But at no time did the gentleman who was attacked put any kind of, you know, didn't touch the woman, didn't do anything like that. So there was no physical, other than giving a middle finger and telling her to go to heck, basically. Well, so they interviewed her, they interviewed him, and then they went to interview the assailant, at which time he was being told his Miranda rights, and he said he's not going to talk until he, you know, talks to a lawyer, has a lawyer presence. Probably a really good move. This gentleman is a CEO of a company, so he's probably very well, you know, knowing the law quite well, that maybe I should see my lawyer. He probably knows he's in trouble already because he's the instigator. No matter if somebody gives you a finger, yells at you, calls you a name, you cannot physically attack them for calling you a name. That is assault. It is not defense. It's not, you know, anything like that. It's assault. And especially if you're a larger person than the person you're attacking, it really does, you know, bode on you not very well. So he's going to have to apparently lawyer up. He got escorted off the ship. First of all, they locked him in his cabin. It was a Rockstar suite on board. So I guess if you're going to get locked in your cabin, Rockstar suite's not too bad. So right away, you know, he's a CEO of a company. He has money. You can probably see some lawsuits in the future, both from a criminal standpoint of assault, and then the individual can try and sue them for damage and you know, stuff like that, monetary amount. Very good idea to speak to your lawyer in this case. Well, let me know in the comments down below. What would you do if you were surrounded by 50 assailants, even if you were a group of like 9 or 10? Would you put up a fight? Would you give them what they want? I'm a fight guy. I'm ready to go if somebody threatens me, but I'm not a dumb person, and I know the odds. Let's put it that way. I definitely know the odds 50 against 1 is not a good ratio for me. Sometimes one-on-one is not a good ratio for me. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.